I was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2010. The day that I found out, my wife and I were in the kitchen, and my doctor called, and they wanted me to go to have a CT scan at St. Francis to see if I had a shadow on my lung. And so they called back and said, "You got an appointment tomorrow." So I proceeded and went to the appointment that day, and I asked the man at St. Francis, how long would it take to get the results back? He said about 2 days. So I went home that day, and my wife and I were standing in the kitchen talking. She was fixing supper. Phone rang, and the doctor's nurse said, "Doctor, would like to speak to you." And when they said that, my heart hit my feet. And it was quite an experience from there. But the next day, I just turned everything over to the Lord, and my wife and my family and my church, and we proceeded from there. First, they went through, and I went to a pulmonary doctor, and they did a biopsy and my breathing and everything. And then they said that I did have cancer of the right upper lobe of my lung. And so I went to Dr. Mann, the surgeon, and he did surgery on me at St. Francis. And then after that, he said everything looked great, but he wanted me to go to my oncologist, who Dr. Spitzer, Gary Spitzer. And we went to the oncologist, and he looked at everything and said that I'd like for you to take, I think it's around 12 treatments of chemo. He said, "Now it's up to you, but you make." He said it's like an insurance policy. So I agreed to take the 12 treatments of chemo, and everything was great. They did it at St. Francis, and I love them all. It's made me realize how precious life is, and that my mother had cancer in 1953, and over the years, and she just passed away on June 29th of this year at 97. So she, they didn't know a lot about cancer in 53, and I knew about it, but until I had it myself, it made me realize that, you have to be aware of it, the symptoms. I didn't have any symptoms. I had another surgery, and they found it on the pre-op. So I'm blessed, and it makes you aware of what goes on. You have to be upbeat. You have to keep an upbeat attitude, and you have to believe in God and your family and your church. And attitude has so much to do with it. My wife will tell you my attitude was great through the whole thing. Even though days were bad, I still had a great attitude. And you just have to keep a smile, keep smiling, and let your family take care of you. Where they gave the treatments of chemo, and those ladies in that department, the nurses there, were outstanding. They always had a smile on their face. They knew what they were doing. Anything you needed, they would get for you. And that helped me more than anything right there. They just enjoyed their work, and it didn't make your day kind of sour, having to go to the hospital and everything. The word cancer is always scary, but when you hear cancer, don't be afraid of it. you have to go and let your find out what it is, and then you have to go in and try to fight it, and then the not knowing is the hard part. Once you know, that's when everything gets a lot better. I mean, you know what to do, and you just have to keep fighting.